Suffolk Pod Show is produced and managed by podtalk.co.uk. I'm Mark Mason.
And I'm Susanna Hornby. Episode 16, talking to Pete Rowe, Artistic Director of the new Wolsey Theatre in Ipswich, about the Snow Queen, this year's rock and roll pantomime. Welcome back, Pete, to the Suffolk Pod Show. It's really good to have you back.
Oh, it's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Well, we couldn't not really, because we're really excited that you are doing your pantomime this year.
Yes, we are. And there was a lot of debate earlier in the year about how we could and should we and could we. And I'm very pleased to say that we are experimenting with this blended version of the pantomime. So mixing a socially distanced audience inside the auditorium with an audience at home who'll be watching a live stream version of the show.
It sounds very clever. We'll talk a bit more about that in a second. But it's the Snow Queen.
That's right, which is a brand new title for us. I've written this one specifically for this Christmas and the circumstances that we're in. The Snow Queen is the story of Kay and Gerda, who are two childhood sweethearts growing up together, destined to be married. And then Kay gets a visit from the Snow Queen, who is freezing people's hearts across the world, making them believe that the world is full of selfish people. So his heart gets turned to stone, and she whisks him off in her sleigh, takes him to her ice palace at the top of the world. And Gerda has to go and rescue him. And the other romance in the play is between the Dame, who is Dame Sigrid Smorgasbord in our version, who is Kay's mum, and Gerda's dad, who's the blacksmith Sven Lumphammer. So there's a kind of alternative romance too. So it's Dame and Gerda who set off from the little Scandinavian village of Ballbroken, where this all happens, to the Snow Queen's ice palace in the frozen north to rescue Kay. So it's a story, it's an adventure story, it's a journey story, but it's a story ultimately of redemption and how love can defeat selfishness.
Sounds absolutely wonderful. I mean, it conjures up all sorts of exciting things that you can do technically as well, now that you can't actually, well, you are doing a straight stage performance.
Yes, we are. I mean, we've tried to exploit the fact that we are blending these two media. So it's the pantomime that everybody who's been to see a Wolsey rock and roll pantomime will remember and love. A live band doing covers of great pop and rock songs woven into this story. And lots of knockabout and slapstick, as well as the romance and the story at the centre of the tale. But there's also an opportunity, of course, to incorporate film and green screen filming with animation in the background. There'll be a big screen that's part of the set so that the audience in the auditorium will see what's going out on the screen as well. And we've looked hard at how we can incorporate the live stream into the auditorium and make sure that the people watching at home feel as much part of the event as the people inside the theatre. Yeah.
It just sounds great. It's an experience, so in theatre and at home, and you've almost feel more connected than ever before.
We hope so. I mean, we've got various ways in which people at home can be part of the usual pantomime participation. So once you've booked a ticket, you can, the usual Dame shout out, when the Dame calls out people's birthdays and parties that are in, you can video yourself at home and send that in, and you'll appear on the big screen as part of that shout out. The bit at the end of the show where usually everybody is up on their feet dancing along to the final number, which is Beyonce's Love on Top in our version. We're asking people to video themselves at home, TikTok style, and send in those videos, and they'll appear on the big screen in the final number too. We're also an important part of the story is that the hammer that breaks the Ice Queen's palace gates, that allows the Gerda and the Dame to get in and rescue Kay, is by repute in a household somewhere in Ipswich. So one of the watching households every show will get a knock on the door just after the interval and be asked to contribute a hammer of some sort, a hammer that they have in their house or a hammer that they've made out of toilet rolls. And our runner will take that hammer back to the theatre, and that hammer will appear in the story on stage at the end of the show. So there are all kinds of ways in which we're trying to help people at home feel very much part of the experience in the auditorium.
God, you've given me goosebumps talking about that. That's amazing.
Well, yes, and it's an experiment. We've never attempted anything like this before. I think there'll be some there'll be some interesting bumps along the way, but bumps along the way is part of what pantomime is about too.
Yeah, I was
one
about
of the
to say.
things that one of the things that audiences always like watching the live show is when things go wrong and the cast have to cope with it. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of the cast having to cope with it in this experience too. But that's all grist of the mill.
And you've got a lovely cast.
Yes, I mean, we've got 5 of our favourite pantomime stalwarts. So James Haggie, Steve Simmons, Lucy Wells, Adam Langstaff and Natasha Lewis, who are all great, very experienced, well known to audiences, and also get on really well, because that's another part of this process. They've all had to go into a bubble together and live together for the rehearsal period. They live in the same house, they come into rehearsal, they work, they go back to that same house. So it's important that they get on.
Yeah.
Still seem to be getting on. We've done 2 weeks rehearsal already, and it's been great to be back in a rehearsal room with them.
Well, there's no excuse for not learning your lines as if you're with your team all the time.
That's right. There's this slightly strange rehearsal process for us, because we've done 2 weeks rehearsal and they've all gone away back to their own homes while we edit the films, and they'll be coming back in a couple of weeks' time to finish rehearsing and then go into the tech rehearsal. So we're meeting up weekly on Zoom just to do line runs to keep the thing up to speed before we come back into the rehearsal room again.
When does it start?
It starts on the 17th of December. So 17th of December is the first performance, and we're running through to Christmas Eve to the 24th.
Okay. And specifically wanted to talk about ticketing and how can we come to the theatre? We must come in our bubble.
Yeah, that's right. There are 2 ways, really, of experiencing this. One is to buy a ticket for the auditorium, and those are only available to household bubbles and have already sold extremely well. So there are limited opportunities for household bubbles of 6 people still to buy tickets for the live show. The live stream show, tickets are obviously available for every performance and cost £25 per household. So you buy 1 ticket for a household, and anybody in your house can watch that particular show. And you can get those tickets by phoning the box office, which is 01473 295 900, or going to the Wolsey Theatre website, wolseytheatre.co.uk, and you can purchase a ticket there.
Can families from across the world watch this together?
Yes, and that's one of the brilliant things about this. Some of the cast have families in bits of family in Australia and Canada who are already signed up. And, there'll be people across the world going, what is this thing called pantomime that they're watching? But yes, anybody can watch it from anywhere, and you can buy people across the world tickets as gifts as well. So the best thing to do is to go to the New Wolsey website and buy a gift voucher, or call the website or the box office again, and then you can gift your remote family a ticket.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Now, you're also doing a special performance on, I think it's Tuesday the 22nd.
Yes, we're doing what we're calling the Carers Big Night In. So this is a performance specifically aimed at all the carers who've been doing such a fantastic job through the course of the year. We're giving away 400 free tickets to say thank you to the community. Allocated those auditorium seats via a ballot, and there are plenty of live stream tickets to give away for that performance as well. So anybody can nominate a carer, or if you're a carer yourself, if you email carers@wolseytheatre.co.uk, we can sort you out a ticket for that specific performance.
That's a lovely idea. Are you doing 2 performances a day?
Most days we are, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it's a matinee and an evening performance, as usual, like it would be.
That's right. Yeah, once we open on the 17th, it's continuous for the company through to Christmas Eve. But they get to go home for Christmas, which they don't usually do.
No, that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I feel so happy that we have pantomime. It's just lovely.
It is. And I think, when we were contemplating whether we could do one or not, it felt like there would be a massive hole in our year as a theatre, but also in the town's year if we weren't able to provide an opportunity for people to come together like this. So I'm really pleased that we're able to do it. And it's been exciting dealing with these different artistic challenges too. And the theatre will be a cross between a theatre and a TV studio, and there'll be people juggling bits of video input and live camera work and the live action, and that's all a very exciting challenge for our acting team and our technical team. So it'll be really interesting to see how all that works out.
Yeah.
But that sense of bringing people together is an important part of what pantomime is about.
Yeah, and you're doing that across the world.
We're doing that across the world, and we're, as with all of our work, we're making sure that it's accessible to everybody as well. So every show has a captioned version and an audio described version.
Super.
So when you sign up for the live stream, you can decide whether you want to see it with captions or with an audio description.
Yeah.
And there's a specific BSL signed performance as well. So it really is a pantomime that anybody can watch.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, we wish you the very best of luck to you and all of your cast and production team, and we look very much forward to watching it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, take care. Good luck. And we look forward to seeing it in its full. And we don't mind the mistakes. We love the mistakes. As you said, it's all part of the pantomime.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have any problem about providing a few little glitches.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Thanks ever so much, Pete.
Thanks very much, Suzanne.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Suffolk Pod Show. Find us on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. Or you can visit our website, podtalk.co.uk. And here's our disclaimer.
The Suffolk Pod Show will not be held responsible for any omissions or errors in its podcast.
The Suffolk Pod Show is produced purely for entertainment purposes. Views and opinions are that of our own or that of our guests.